Hi, I'm Virginia Gardner, and this is a beautiful Earlysville day in May, and I have the great pleasure of interviewing two of our local celebrities, identical twins Hannah and Emily Roper. You may know them as the Roper sisters, and they have agreed to begin our interview with some of their music. Maybe you can introduce it as you begin to play.
To get started with a tune called Troubles, and we got it from Kilby Snow. He played it on an autoharp and sang it, but we're going to make do with the banjo and the mandolin. Oh Lordy me, oh Lordy my. See when you haven't got a dime. Troubles are so deep you can't eat or sleep. See when your troubles just like mine. See when your troubles just like mine. I asked my captain for a job. He said, son, tell me what can you do? Well, I can lay a track, I can bow a jack, I can pick, I can shovel too. I can pick and shovel too. Pray, 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 all you stars in the sky. Mother Nature, Father Time. Underneath the moonlit sky. Here's a star for everyone who cries. Here's a star for everyone who cries. Oh Lordy me, oh Lordy my. See when you haven't got a dime. Troubles are so deep you can't eat or sleep. See when your troubles just like mine. See when your troubles just like mine.
Okay, thank you so much. That was fabulous. And you all might notice that we've switched musical instruments. Okay, so now you're just finishing undergraduate work at East Tennessee State University,
That's right.
and you have some pretty amazing plans in the works. But I thought we'd start with a little background. All right, your mom and dad were both military, so you all traveled around, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
And so then when did you get to Earlysville? Do you remember?
Yeah, we moved here just before starting middle school, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that was,
Around 10 years old, maybe?
I think we were 11, so that makes it 10 years ago.
Okay, all right. And I did want to mention that you have a sister, Rebecca, that although not in music, she's now going into the medical medical school business.
That's right.
You all are an amazing family. Okay, so you said in the answers that I asked some questions of you that you started at the age of 14, so your entire music career has been based in Earlysville.
That's right.
Do you think this rural environment has had any impact on that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We started out playing music in the orchestra at school, and we started taking lessons with a guy at Music and Arts in Charlottesville.
Okay.
And he suggested we go to some fiddle jams. So if we hadn't been in this area at all, we wouldn't have encountered. Well, we'd never heard bluegrass music before that point. So if it hadn't been for the area we were in, we wouldn't have encountered it.
That's
and
wonderful.
It's such a part of the culture here in this region. And so that makes it really easy to access it. It makes it easy to find other people, especially a lot of the older people. So there's a lot to learn here too.
Well, okay, so your main focus is bluegrass. Now, when I looked up the difference between bluegrass and country, it basically said bluegrass is a subgenre of country, and that the main difference is that it's bluegrass is more instrumental. Would you agree with that?
A lot of the time, I would classify what we play as more like old time country. If
Yeah,
that
it's really just semantics. The difference between bluegrass, country, and old time. It's just marketing terms.
Okay.
There's not too big of a
bluegrass is a term that was invented in the 60s to describe this particular subgenre that was created by Bill Monroe. And so it describes the band, the style of music that he played, and then also the bands that imitate his style. So
you have mandolin, fiddle, guitar, banjo.
generally,
bass,
bluegrass bands are all acoustic,
Okay.
whereas country music, it's very common to have electric instruments and things like that.
I see. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Do you now? Are you writing some of your own music?
We are.
You are, and you're staying in this old time tradition as you're doing that at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of we might deal with more like modern concepts in some of our lyrics, but
Right.
as far as the music goes,
Because I think Taylor Swift started in country, didn't she? And then she
Yes,
just
ma'am.
moved into. Okay, so and well, one of the things you mentioned is also, and you alluded to it a second ago, but that this is a very friendly, warm, inviting, and type of music. So, two of the mentors, the first two you mentioned to me, Mary Ann Lambert and Tommy Payne, were they local people?
yes, and we met them over at the Piedmont Virginia Fiddle and Banjo Association,
Okay.
which meets at Beaver Dam Baptist Church, which is right close to here. And Tommy Payne at the time was the president
Okay.
of the club. I guess he still is.
I don't think so. I'm not sure who the president is. We've been living in Tennessee, so we've
Oh, right.
lost touch with the club. But
But they encouraged you.
yeah, they've
Absolutely.
always been there to help us, point out things we need to learn and push us to do things we're not comfortable with, to grow musically and things like that.
Well, you all have, your mother shared with me some of your history. You know, you have this travel trailer out there because you all were going from state fairs to just about any venue you can think of. But then you got invited to Dollywood. Now that was big, wasn't it?
It was, yes. So every year Dollywood, except this year, unfortunately, but most every year Dollywood has a bluegrass festival. They call it Barbecue and Bluegrass. And in the winter, they host auditions, and anybody can come
Okay.
audition to play at the festival. And we went down. Someone told us that they were hosting the auditions in, was it February, something like that.
Yeah.
And so we went down with our mom and another local lady, Ann Woodward. She's one of our biggest fans, and she came down with us too for moral support. And I had actually forgotten to pack shoes. So we get down to Pigeon Forge, and we're going to audition to play at Dollywood, and I don't have a pair of shoes with me. I had like the slippers I was wearing to leave the house. I don't know what passed through my mind. I guess I was just very nervous.
Yeah.
But so we stopped at one of the stores and actually bought this pair of boots I'm currently wearing. And we auditioned. We were the last group that got up to audition, and so Emily and I are sitting there and so nervous.
nervous.
I bet.
So nervous. There's so many good groups that went up and auditioned, and so we went up. We played our songs.
And we got a phone call a
They said,
few
"Come
months
on."
later. Yeah.
That's amazing. So I think anybody watching you would be interested in knowing what it's like. I mean, what do you do? I mean, what's the gig like being at Dollywood?
Yeah, so they have a lot of different, I guess,
Types of entertainment.
at Dollywood. They have the big stage shows and things like that. We were hired as a roving duo,
Okay.
so we would go to different spots in the park and play just like how we are now and
Okay.
interact with people and
I don't know if you've ever seen buskers on the downtown mall
in Charlotte.
in
Oh,
Charlottesville.
yes, yes.
That's about what we did, but we weren't allowed to take tips.
Okay. Well, that's a lot. That's a long day too.
Yeah, We usually played 8-hour days, and the past few years they've had us for like 14 days in a row.
That's amazing.
So it's a lot of fun, but by the end of it, you do get tired.
Yeah. That's remarkable. Now, okay, so you also mentioned in your mentors this gentleman, Bill Vordick, and I looked him up. The name, by the way, is spelled Vordick. And he's your producer because you all are getting ready to put together a first album.
Yeah. We're very excited. We've known Bill Vordick for a few years now.
Okay.
And we were so excited when he agreed to help us work on our first album.
Yeah.
We're picking songs for it right now, and that's quite a process.
It's a lot of stress to be like, this is going to be our first CD, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be the one people remember, and which songs do we want to be on that, and
How do we want to represent and set the stage for our career moving forward?
Well, that is interesting. So, all right. So, will you will be able to? I mean, you'll have some of your own music on the album. You think?
No, we're saving our originals.
Okay.
So we're gonna put those out later.
So, all right. So this will be an introduction to your music and how you interpret the old time songs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely, and we're using some more. We have some more modern songs picked too, and one of our goals is to kind of juxtapose the two, the old songs and new songs, and how we interpret all of them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So we're very
It,
excited.
it shows that you can do it all, basically. Okay, so now I will have links to all of your online venues at the bottom of the video. This will be a YouTube video,
Okay.
so so people can easily find you. And I know I speak for everyone in Earlysville that we are going to be, raving for you to be a great success, to continue your success. Is there anything else that I've missed about your history that you'd like to mention or your future, before we get to your last number?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
you hit everything.
We hit the highlights?
That's
Yeah.
right.
We're really excited about all the stuff that we're working on and things that we've got planned, and
Well, let me, something I hadn't thought about, I'm just going to interject real quick. Other young people who are considering, you might have young people see this and go, oh my gosh, maybe I could do this. Was East Tennessee State University, was that like, you knew that that's where you wanted to go?
Not at first. We were actually in our second year at PVCC
Okay.
when we found out about the Bluegrass Old Time and Country Music Studies degree program, and we thought about it, and we decided that that's the direction we needed to go in.
Okay.
It's been very useful for us as far as just learning a lot about the music, about our own personal style.
And the industry, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So would you encourage another young person to follow your path, to maybe, to really spend time honing their skills and figuring out where they want to go, and then tailor their school to that?
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, I think that everybody's journey with music and their relationship to music is something that you should stop and think about and say, okay, I love this. Where do I want to go with this? And if your perfect world, your perfect plan for the future involves you playing music in front of others, or maybe one day on the Grand Ole Opry or something like that,
Yeah.
then sit down and think about what it takes to get there. Do you need to learn more about the history? Do you need to learn how the industry works? I think that
And
a
network.
networking,
Yeah.
I think that a career in music is definitely doable. It's an achievable dream.
Some
and-
people will say that it's not, and there's always discouragers who just want you to be a dentist like everybody else.
Yeah.
And we need dentists, but we also need musicians. And if
Yes.
it's something that you're passionate about, like if you try, you try. If you don't try, you'll never know if you could have done it.
Well, you're fantastic. You're just lovely young ladies, and I hope that doesn't sound funny, but you are, and I know you're going to reach your dreams.
Thank
So, Okay, so are we ready then for the second song?
Yeah, for sure.
And so what will you be playing for us now?
The other song we picked was Sitting Alone in the Moonlight. It's a song that Bill Monroe recorded. Yeah, we'll do it a little bit differently than his version, but I hope that people still enjoy it.
Sitting alone in the moonlight, thinking about the days gone by, wondering about my darling. I can still hear him saying goodbye. Now the moon grows pale as I sit here. Each star seems to whisper and say, your sweetheart is gone and found another. Now he is far, far away. Now the moon grows pale as I sit here. Each star seems to whisper and say, your sweetheart has gone and found another. Now he is far, far away.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.